I was always curious to see what it would take to make my husband snap. Then I found out the hard way. Jason is the calmest person I've ever met. In 12 years of marriage, I've never seen him raise his voice. Not when someone rear-ended his truck. Not when a contractor scammed just out of $8,000. He just breathes, stays steady, figures it out. Our daughter Crystal is 8. She's blind. Has a guide dog named Luna. A golden retriever trained specifically for her. She's Crystal's eyes, Crystal's safety, Crystal's best friend. We were at the park one Saturday when it happened. Crystal was sitting on a bench with Luna's harness in her hand. Jason got up and kissed my forehead. Going to the bathroom. Be back in 5 minutes. Walked away. That's when they showed up. A woman and her son. The boy looked about 10. He spotted Luna immediately and ran over. Mom, look at this dog. He was already reaching for Luna before I could say anything. Can I pet her, please? I hesitated. Technically, you're not supposed to pet service dogs while they're working. But Crystal doesn't get many people wanting to interact with her. Kids usually stare or avoid her completely. Maybe they could be friends. Sure. The boy dropped to his knees and started petting Luna. Rough. Grabbing at her fur. Gentle. I said. She's a working dog. He ignored me, grabbed Luna's ears, pulled. Luna Vimperez. I said gentle. The mom walked up. Sorry. He just loves dogs. We've been wanting to get him one. But they're expensive. It's okay. She watched her son yank Luna's tail. Didn't correct him. Most dogs bite him. How'd you get her so calm? She's a service dog. Especially trained. I said calmly. Oh wow. For what? She's a guide dog. I responded. For my daughter. She's blind. The woman stopped smiling. Looked at Crystal. She doesn't look blind. I felt my jaw tighten. Excuse me. I'm just saying she's looking right at me. I did a double take. Are you serious? The boy looked up at Crystal. Waved his hand in front of her face. Hello. Earth to weirdo. Don't do that, I said. He did it again. Closer. Almost touched her nose. Crystal flinched. Mommy, stop it. I said. Firmer now. The boy laughed. She's faking, Mom. The woman tilted her head. You know, he might be right. Kids fake stuff all the time for attention. The boy stood up, still holding Luna's collar. If she's really blind, she doesn't need a dog. Blind people use sticks. Looked at his mom. The woman looked at him, then Luna, then at Crystal. Something shifted in her eyes. You know, my son is autistic. He should have this dog. Before I could even respond, the boy yanked Luna's collar. Come on, dog. You're mine now. Crystal felt the pull. Gripped the harness tighter. No. Luna, stay. Let go, weirdo. The boy pulled harder. Mummy. I turned to the kid. Get your hands off the dog now. That's when a man I didn't recognize walked over. Big guy, polo shirt. What's going on, honey? The woman looked at him. Kevin. They won't share the dog. Kevin looked at Luna. At Crystal. Me. Just give us the dog. Our son wants it. I stared in disbelief. No. He stepped closer. Don't be different. The cold Crystal's voice came out small. Mummy. What's happening? The woman leaned down toward her. What's happening, sweetie? Is we're taking your dog, since you're lying about being blind. Crystal started crying, silent tears running down her face. I looked around. 2 people on a bench nearby. A jogger passing. Nobody helped. Back off now. I yelled. Kevin grabbed my arm. Dylan. Take the kid. I started fighting him. Get your hand off me. The kid grabbed Luna's collar with both hands. Started dragging her. No. Crystal screamed. Luna. The woman ripped the harness out of Crystal's hands. Luna yelled. Crystal's hands reached out into nothing, grabbing at air. Luna. Where are you? I tried to move, but the man was holding me tight. The kid was laughing. Stupid blind girl. You don't deserve a dog. Crystal was sobbing. Mommy, help. I can't see. Where's Luna? Then I heard it. Footsteps. Fast, heavy. Jason. He didn't say a word. He just ran up and crack. His fist connected with Kevin's jaw. The sound of bone smashing echoed across the park. Kevin dropped, hit the concrete. The woman spun around. What the? Jason shoved her hard. She fell on her butt. The kid froze, still holding Luna's collar. Jason grabbed his shoulder and pushed him away firm. Their boy stumbled back and fell next to his mother. Jason took Luna's leash, walked back to Crystal. Meltdown. Daddy's here, baby. I have Luna. She's right here. Crystal grabbed Luna and buried her face in her fur, sobbing. Jason held them both. I looked over. Kevin was still on the ground, blood pooling under his head. The woman was screaming, "You're going to jail. I'm calling the police." Jason didn't respond, just kept whispering to Crystal. The cops came. Jason went in handcuffs without resisting. The woman filed charges. Aggravated assault. The arraignment was 3 days later. The judge reviewed the evidence. He looked right at the woman, then at Kevin, who was sitting with a bandage covering his whole head. Let me get this right. The right judge started. You attempted to steal from a blind child. Your husband restrained the mother. Your son participated, and you want to press charges against the father for protecting his family. The woman's face went red. Case dismissed. The judge looked right at the couple. Bailiff, arrest them. That's when my daughter's voice echoed. Yeah, arrest them. Chapter 1. The silence after the gavel. The gavel didn't just end the hearing. It severed our old life from our new one. Yeah, arrest them. Crystal's small voice had echoed in the courtroom. It was the first time she had spoken above a whisper in 3 days. As the bailiffs moved in on Kevin and his wife, whose name we learned was Brenda, chaos erupted. Brenda screamed, spitting vitriol about corruption and ableism, twisting the narrative even as handcuffs clicked around her wrists. Kevin, jaw wired shut and face swollen like a bruised peach, could only make guttural noises of rage. Jason didn't look at them. He didn't gloat. He simply turned to our lawyer, shook his hand, and then picked Crystal up. She was 8 years old, too big to be carried really, but she curled into him like a toddler. Luna, sensing the shift in atmospheric pressure, trotted closely at his heel, her tail low but wagging tentatively. The drive home was suffocating. "Are they gone forever, Daddy?" Crystal asked from the back seat. She was stroking Luna's head with a frantic, rhythmic intensity. "They're gone for now, baby," Jason said. His voice was back to that level, steady baritone. But his knuckles were white on the steering wheel. "They can't hurt you." "They said I was faking," she whispered. "Why did they say that?" I reached back and squeezed her knee. "Because they are bad people, honey. Bad people tell lies to take things that aren't theirs." When we got home, Jason locked the front door. Then he locked the deadbolt. Then he went to the sliding glass door in the back and wedged a piece of cut timber into the track. I watched him from the kitchen island. This was the man who never raised his voice. The man who let contractors rip us off because karma keeps its own ledger. Now he was fortifying our home like a bunker. "Jason," I said softly. He looked up. His eyes were different. The soft blue was hard, like ice that had been compressed for centuries. "I need to check the perimeter cameras," he said. "The motion sensitivity is too low." "They're in jail," I reminded him. "Kevin makes bail in the morning," Jason replied, his tone flat. "Assault isn't a capital offense. And Brenda has money. I saw her watch. They'll be out." He wasn't wrong. And for the first time in 12 years, looking at my calm, steady husband, I didn't feel just safe. I felt a flicker of fear. Not of him, but of what he was becoming to keep us safe. Chapter 2, The Viral Infection. Jason was right. They were out by noon the next day. But we had a bigger problem. The jogger who had passed us in the park, the one I thought had ignored us, hadn't ignored us. He had filmed us. The video was everywhere. Title: Dad of the Year KO's Dog Thief. It showed everything. The boy Dylan dragging Luna. Brenda screaming. Kevin holding me. And then Jason entering the frame like a freight train. The crack of the punch was audible even through phone speakers. Most of the internet was on our side. Hero Dad was trending. But the internet is a hydra, and for every 10 heads that praised us, one head spit poison. Doxing happened within hours. Our address was posted on a forum dedicated to exposing fake service dogs. People dissected the video, claiming Crystal didn't act blind, because she turned her head toward the sound of the voices. They claimed Jason used excessive force. That evening, a brick shattered the front window. I screamed. Crystal dropped to the floor, covering her ears. Luna barked, a deep, chest-rattling sound I'd never heard from her before. Jason didn't scream. He didn't jump. He was sitting on the couch, and in one fluid motion he was up. He moved to the broken window, crunching over glass, and looked out into the darkness. "Jason, get away from there!" I yelled, pulling Crystal under the dining table. He turned to me. "Take her upstairs. Go into the bathroom. Lock the door." "What are you going to do?" "I'm going to fix this." He walked out the front door into the night. He didn't take a weapon. He didn't need one. He was the weapon. He returned 20 minutes later. He had a license plate number and a description. "Just kids," he said, sweeping up the glass. "Stupid kids reacting to a video. But they won't come back." "How do you know?" I explained the situation to them. I didn't ask what that meant. I didn't want to know. Chapter 3, The Counterattack. 2 days later, the lawsuit arrived. Kevin and Brenda weren't just out on bail. They were on the offensive. They were suing us for $500,000 for medical damages, pain and suffering, and emotional distress for their son, Dylan. Their lawyer was a shark named Eldridge, known for taking high-profile, low-moral cases. He went on the news, painting us as scammers. "This is a case of a violent man attacking a special needs child and his father," Eldridge told the reporters. "My clients just wanted to pet a dog. They were brutally assaulted." Crystal stopped eating. She refused to hold Luna's harness. "I don't want Luna to get hurt," she told me, pushing her plate away. "If I don't use her, nobody will try to take her." "Honey, Luna loves working," I pleaded. "No," Crystal shouted, tears streaming down her face. "I'm not blind. I'm faking. Tell them I'm faking so they leave us alone." My heart shattered. That night, Jason sat at the kitchen table. He had a stack of papers in front of him. Not legal papers, printouts, background checks, financial records, social media archives. "What is all this?" I asked. "Kevin and Brenda verify," Jason said. "Or rather, Kevin Miller and Brenda Stokes. They aren't married. And this isn't the first time." He slid a paper toward me. A news article from a small town in Ohio, 3 years ago. Couple accused of stealing purebred poodle at dog park claim, misunderstanding. "They move towns," Jason said. "They spot expensive dogs, service animals, show dogs. They use the kid, Dylan, as bait. They claim the dog bit the kid. Or they claim the owner stole it from them. In the confusion, they take the dog. Then they sell it or ransom it back." "They're grifters," I whispered. "They're predators," Jason corrected. "And they made a mistake. They hunted in my territory." "We give this to the police," I said. "The police have it. It's circumstantial. The Ohio charges were dropped because the victims didn't want to testify. Eldridge will bury this. Jason stood up. I'm not relying on the law anymore, honey. The law is a shield. I need a sword. Chapter 4. The bait. Jason took a leave of absence from his engineering job. He told them he needed family time. He spent the next week tracking them. He didn't stalk them, he studied them. He found out where Kevin was recovering. He found out where Brenda shopped. He found out that Dylan wasn't autistic. He was a terror who bragged on Discord about how many dogs he'd helped steal. Then Jason did something that terrified me. He bought a dog. Not a real dog. A robotic hyper-realistic movie prop dog. It looked exactly like a French bulldog, the kind that sells for $5,000. He put a spiked collar on it. We're going to the park, Jason said. Jason, no. Crystal is terrified. Crystal stays with her grandmother. You and I are going to the park. The one 3 towns over. Where Brenda has been checking in on Facebook. We sat on a bench. Jason placed the robotic dog on the ground next to him. From 5 feet away, it looked alive. It even had a mechanism to make the chest rise and fall. It took an hour. Brenda appeared. She didn't have Kevin with her, but she had Dylan. And she had a new man, a heavyset guy who looked like muscle. They spotted the Frenchie. I felt my pulse hammer in my throat. Jason, she has a bodyguard. Good, Jason said. I'd hate for it to be too easy. Dylan ran up. The script was the same. Mommy, look at the doggy. Brenda approached. She didn't recognize us. I was wearing a wig and sunglasses. Jason had a hat low over his eyes and had grown a beard in the weeks since the incident. Is that a purebred? Brenda asked, her eyes glittering with greed. Import, Jason grunted. Worth 10 grand. Can my son pet him? No. He bites. Oh, don't be like that. Brenda signaled the muscle. The big guy stepped forward. The lady asked a question. The muscle said. Dylan grabbed the robotic dog. He yanked. The head popped off. Dylan screamed. It's fake. It's fake. Brenda froze. The muscle froze. Jason stood up. He took off his hat. He looked Brenda right in the eyes. Hello, Brenda. She stumbled back. You're the psycho. I'm the father, Jason said. He pulled out his phone. I just live-streamed you attempting to steal a $10,000 dog. I have you on camera signaling your goon to intimidate me. And since the value of the property you attempted to steal is over a certain limit, this is now a felony investigation in this county too. Brenda sneered. It's a doll, you freak. You can't steal a doll. Attempted grand larceny, Jason said calmly. But that's not the point. The point is, I know where you live. I know you launder the money through your sister's nail salon in Jersey. I know you haven't paid taxes on your dog breeding business in 5 years. And I just sent a packet to the IRS, the FBI, and Eldridge. You're bluffing, she hissed. Am I? Jason took a step forward. The muscle stepped in. Jason didn't punch him. He didn't have to. He just looked at the guy. Walk away, Jason said. She can't pay you. Her assets are being frozen as we speak. The muscle looked at Brenda, then at Jason. He saw the stillness in Jason's eyes, the absolute, terrifying lack of fear. The guy walked away. Brenda stood there, trembling. You ruined my life. You tried to steal my daughter's eyes, Jason said. I'm just balancing the equation. Chapter 5. The collapse. The IRS doesn't play games. Neither does the FBI when interstate theft rings are exposed with a paper trail tied up in a bow. Jason hadn't just watched them. He had forensic accountants look at the public records he found. He had done the work the police were too overloaded to do. Eldridge dropped them as clients 2 days later. The civil suit was withdrawn. Kevin, still drinking his meals through a straw, was arrested for violating bail conditions, leaving the state to sell a stolen husky, which Jason also tipped off. Brenda was indicted for tax evasion and racketeering. Dylan was placed in foster care. It was tragic in a way. He was a monster, but he was a monster made by monsters. But the victory felt hollow because Crystal was still broken. She wouldn't leave her room. She wouldn't touch Luna. Luna was getting depressed, pacing the house, whining at Crystal's door. We won, baby. I told her, sitting on the edge of her bed. They're in jail for a long, long time. Someone else will come, Crystal said, staring at the wall she couldn't see. People hate me because I'm different. I went downstairs. Jason was in the garage, taking down the boxing bag he had installed years ago but never used. He was putting it back up. She won't come out, I said. Jason hit the bag. Thud. I fixed the problem, he said. Why isn't she better? Because you fixed the bad guys, Jason. You didn't fix the fear. You can't punch fear. Jason stopped. He rested his forehead against the heavy bag. For the first time, I saw his shoulders slump. I don't know what to do, he admitted. I know how to fight. I know how to solve logistics. I don't know how to make her brave again. She doesn't need to be brave, I said. She needs to see that you are safe. Not dangerous safe. Just that safe. Chapter 6. The return to the park. A week later, Jason walked into Crystal's room. Get dressed, he said. I don't want to go out. We aren't going out. We're going to the backyard. Crystal hesitated but put on her shoes. Jason handed her the harness. She flinched. Take it, he said gently. She took it. Luna perked up, tail thumping. We went to the backyard. But it wasn't our backyard anymore. Jason had spent the last 3 nights working while we slept. He had built a park. There was a bench. There was a paved path. There were even simulated obstacles, a curb, a mailbox, a fire hydrant. It's a training course, Jason said. For you and Luna. And for me. For you. Crystal asked. I need training too, Jason said. He knelt down in front of her. I need you to teach me how to walk with you. I walked in front of you that day. I left you alone. I need you to teach me how to be your spotter. Crystal ran her hand over the harness leather. You want me to teach you? Yes. I'm clumsy. I need help. Crystal giggled. It was a rusty small sound, but it was there. You aren't clumsy, Daddy. I am. Show me. They walked the path. Luna led Crystal. Crystal explained to Jason what she was doing. I listen to her claws, she said. When they click faster, we're speeding up. When she stops, I feel it in the handle. Jason walked beside them. Not in front. Not behind. Beside. Day by day, the perimeter expanded. First the backyard. Then the sidewalk in front of the house. Then the block. Jason was always there. He didn't look like a bodyguard anymore. He didn't scan the horizon with hunter's eyes. He just walked, talking about the weather, about birds, about nothing. Chapter 7. 1 year later. We were back at the park. The real park. It was Saturday. The sky was that piercing blue that hurts your eyes. Crystal was sitting on the bench. Luna was at her feet, sleeping. Jason and I were sitting next to them, drinking coffee. A group of teenagers walked by. Loud, boisterous. One of them had a skateboard. The wheels clattered loudly on the pavement. Crystal tensed. Her hand went to Luna's neck. Jason put his hand over hers. He didn't squeeze. He just rested it there. It's okay, he said. The teenagers passed. One of them looked at Luna. Cool dog, the kid said. Crystal froze. Thanks, Crystal said. Her voice wavered, then strengthened. She's a guide dog. She's working. Respect, the kid said and skated on. Crystal let out a breath she'd been holding for a year. She smiled. A real smile. Did you hear that, Luna? He said you're cool. Jason leaned back and took a sip of his coffee. He looked at me over the rim of the cup. The ice in his eyes was gone, melted back into that warm, steady blue. But I knew it was there. Deep down. The snap hadn't broken him. It had revealed him. He was the calmest man I knew. He was the gentle father who built a park in a backyard to heal his daughter's heart. But I also knew that if anyone ever touched us again, the world would burn. And honestly, I slept better than I ever had in my life. Daddy, Crystal asked. Yeah, bug. Can I get ice cream? Jason stood up. I think Luna wants some too. He took her hand. They walked toward the ice cream truck, the blind girl, the golden dog, and the man who walked beside them. A car honked in the distance, aggressive and loud. Jason didn't even flinch. He didn't need to. He knew exactly what he was capable of, and that was peace enough.